I never thought I would say this, but Mexico was the freest place in the world. In the world, there was nothing more free than Tulum, Mexico during COVID. And it's shocking because, like, I grew up in the States. I spent most of my life in the States and home of the free, you know. But it wasn't that at all.
Right.
But when I came down here, I was shocked. And, yeah, I just kind of fell in love with the community more than anything.
Welcome back to Badass Digital Nomads. I'm here with Michael Dash, who's the author of the book Chasing the High. And we're just hanging out in tropical Tulum, full of pools and palm trees. And what a life, Michael. How long have you been here in Tulum?
I've been here for 3.5 years. I'm what they call a COVID baby. I came down for a week during COVID, and I never left.
A group of COVID babies.
COVID babies in Tulum, Mexico. What a blessing.
Where are you from originally, and where did you come down from?
I'm from New Jersey. I spent 13 years in Utah with my business. I had a traditional staffing and recruiting business for 13 years. Then I sold that and I went to LA. Didn't really enjoy LA. Was there for 2 years and COVID happened. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. God brought me to Tulum.
Yeah, how did you decide to come here of everywhere you could have gone, I guess?
Yeah, I had actually never heard of Tulum. Basically, I was on Instagram scrolling and a friend posted a picture. It looked gorgeous. I asked her where she was. She told me she was in Tulum. I said, where's Tulum? She said, fly to Cancun and I'll pick you up. It's an 1.5-hour drive. So I'm like, I'll be there in 48 hours. And that was literally it. I booked my flight, came down here, stayed at Holistica for beautiful. I was supposed to stay there for a week, stayed for 3. And somebody offered me a place. And I like to say Tulum moved me here. I didn't actually make a conscious decision to move here. I was just flowing and trusting my intuition.
Everything was falling into place for you.
Everything just aligned and God wanted me here.
I just discovered Holistica yesterday and I'm devastated that I only found it right before I'm leaving. So I can see how you would come there and want to stay. And what were your first impressions of Tulum when you first got here?
There was so much going on in the world at that time with this whole COVID. So there's so much noise everywhere, right? And I got to Holistica and I was like, this place is like so cool. I just thought it was so cool. They have yoga all day. I'm not even a yogi, but they have yoga class all day. But then at night, they would have like sound healings and ice baths and ecstatic dance if you want, and like art class and like fire stuff around the fire. It was just like one offering after another. So I really enjoyed the ability to be able to do things every single night very easily. And then I slowly ingrained into the people here. And the community is just amazing. So, yeah, it was a little bit like, wow, this is an adult playground.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I felt.
I kind of feel like that about this lifestyle in general, just being able to choose where you live and travel and all the experiences you can have. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still blown away all the time. It's mind-boggling, actually, the level of freedom and also the interesting people you meet and the activities and things that you can do, and all healthy things, as you're mentioning, focusing on your creativity with art, doing yoga, eating healthy foods. Just, it's very much centered around well-being here. But then so is California. So how was your life, your daily life like in California before coming here? Were you already involved with some of the same things, or was it more of the standard 9 to 5?
After I sold my business, I was free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I built a business that, or I should say, I was running a business that was running me. So I wasn't actually in control of my life. I gave it to the business, and I had so many people pulling at me, and I allowed that. I set it up like that. So when I went to California, I was on the spiritual path. I was on the personal development path at that point. And I was doing things like sound healing and I was doing yoga. But the people and the environment I was in Venice, it was like flooded with drug use, crime. The homeless population was going through the roof at that time. Mm-hmm. And I was walking, I'd wake up in the morning and walk to get coffee and see somebody shooting up heroin or something or smoking out of a spoon at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's not how I want to start my day, and that's not really what I want to see. So coming down here, there was none of that. And it was really just a breath of fresh air. I really had to, and they had all these, conditions about not leaving the house and not getting together with people because of the COVID.
In California.
Yeah, it was really,
strict.
it was very strict. And I was like, I felt my freedom was taken away. And I never thought I would say this, but Mexico was the freest place in the world. In the world, there was nothing more free than Tulum, Mexico during COVID.
I have heard this confirmed by other people as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't here, but that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, and it's shocking because, I grew up in the States. I spent most of my life in the States, and home of the free, but it wasn't that at all.
Right.
But when I came down here, I was shocked, and yeah, I just kind of fell in love with the community more than anything.
How would you describe the community here for people who have never been?
So it is very transient, but all the people coming here are coming for a reason. Either they're healing from something, they're an entrepreneur, they're a nomad, they're into health and wellness, or they're very spiritual. In the areas I spend my time. Mm-hmm. There's also a whole party section of Tulum. Mm-hmm. So you can come here and you can go to these clubs on the beach and you can get wasted. And I find no redeeming value in that whatsoever. That's not how I live my life. But I did. I used to live that life.
Yeah.
And so if you're in that life, it's very fun. But on the other side, the spiritual growth, the health and wellness, the like-minded people, and the music down here is awesome. All the best DJs come through here. In the world, they come through here.
Yeah.
And there's amazing shows, especially in the beginning of the year. And just all the time, I can go and find awesome music. And I really love that. I rediscovered my connection to music. In the States, I had lost it. I was listening to music on the radio.
Right.
And it's just not the same.
Yeah.
This is true, you can feel it from the heart. What's being created down here.
That is very special. It's such a small place, but yet it does attract the biggest DJs in the world. And being based in Miami recently, that's really the only other place I can think of that has as many DJs as Tulum. I mean, maybe Ibiza as well. But even Amsterdam, New York doesn't have as much going on as here. So it is very special for that. And then having been here for 3.5 years, do you feel like you also have a group of local friends in the community, or do you feel like it's very separated between the transient foreigners and the locals?
It is a little separated from local Tulum people. There's one place you find everybody gathering is on Tuesday nights at Palma Central, where there's salsa night. So you'll have locals and transients, and it's a great mix, and the vibe is so high.
I went this week.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Right?
Yeah. It was probably the most unique, one of the most unique experiences I've ever had. I have never seen such a mix of people in one place, like a gathering like that, of local salsa dancing with foreigners and people taking salsa lessons at the same time, and tourists sitting down and eating, but then also people who've lived here for 5 years, 8 years, 2.5 years, whatever it is very, very special, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that night is awesome, even if you don't dance. It's just the electric energy there, and it's surrounded by food trucks, and it's just a big dance floor, and there are fire spinners. And so, it's one of the most enjoyable nights.
Right,
every
it's
week.
that spiritual element and with the salsa music and everything.
Yeah, and I guess what I like most about Tulum is there's something for everybody. So if whatever you're looking for, you'll find it here.
Right.
And the diversity of people from all over the world that come here it's incredible. You have every country here. A lot of German people, a lot of Russians, a lot of Ukrainians, a lot of people who hang out in Ibiza, a lot of people from the UK, from the US. So it's a great, great mix.
Yes, it feels, even though it is transient, it feels a bit less transient than Playa, in the sense that Playa del Carmen it has cruise ships, it has more tourism. So there it seems like there's more people passing through for the day for a couple days or a week, whereas here you get a good sense of that there's like a core community that's here year round and less transient tourism, maybe. That's my perception after a couple weeks.
Yeah, I would say during the summer, everyone leaves.
Oh, right.
They all leave.
Yeah.
They go to Ibiza.
Okay.
So it's like Ibiza in the summer and Tulum in the winter. And you find a lot of people doing that. So I would say that's the biggest trend that I've seen. I've stayed here. I don't know if I'm gonna this summer. It gets super, super hot.
Yeah.
And it's quiet, but you deepen the relationships with the people who do stay here. So that's a benefit of it.
Right.
You know, when it's busy season, there's so much going on. It's hard to really drop in with a lot of people.
Just have some good bug spray
Yeah.
in the summer.
Yeah.
The rain, or more rain and more mosquitoes.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I've been in a lot worse places.
This seems like the new snowbird. Ibiza in the summer, Tulum in the winter.
Yeah.
Very interesting times that we're living in right now. And so take us back to when you came here for this week or you stayed for a month. What was your process of detaching from California?
Flying back, breaking my lease, and putting everything in a storage unit.
How long did that take you?
Less than a week.
And are you still paying state taxes in California?
I'm not. I never was a resident in California. I was a resident in Utah, so I'm paying. There's a tax exemption that you get if you're a nomad. So I apply for that,
Or
but
federal
you have
or
to be.
state?
I can't remember. I think it's state. I think it's actually. I'm not sure. It's one of them. You have to be traveling. You can't be in the States more than 30 days.
Okay, so this is the
To apply
foreign
for it.
income exclusion.
Yeah. So I think it's for. I'm not sure what it's for exactly.
Basically, you don't have to pay income taxes on the first. I don't know how much it is this year. It was like 116,000 maybe
Yeah.
dollars in income. You can deduct that from your income tax.
Yeah.
If you're present in foreign countries for 330 days a year. So that doesn't include being on a cruise ship or flying from one place to another. You have to be literally on foreign soil for 330 days a year to qualify for that. Disclaimer, I'm not an accountant, but I'll link to some accounting episodes in the show notes.
I think the only way they track it though is from your
Passport stamps. Yeah.
So they don't know where you. As long as you're not in the U.S., I think you are good with
Right, you need to be out in another country.
Yeah.
So you just can't be in no man's land. Like if you're on a sailboat, I think that doesn't count. Like if you sail the world full time. But I've never tested that out.
I'm down to sail the world. You know, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's a good benefit there. And then what is your cost of living like here?
So it's interesting. I always keep my cost of living the same wherever I go, and it just the size of the place I live in will change, but I'll always keep it the same.
So you're keeping your California cost of living, but you're living a bigger, higher quality of life here.
A much higher quality of life. It's not cheap here. It's not cheap.
Right.
But you can live on a budget. I just choose not to. I worked really hard not to live on a budget. I live on some budget, but like my place that I'm in, I have to be inspired by. So I have an amazing place. There's 30-foot ceilings. I have a 2-bedroom and I have a private rooftop, and it's a house.
Do you have a view?
No, I don't have.
Okay.
I don't have a view, but I have a view of my dog. But I'm attached to a condo, a place with some condos, but it's tropical like this, and there's a shared pool, and I have my own private plunge pool on my rooftop.
Nice.
And a big roof, so I have people over all the time and stuff like that.
Nice. And what's your rent there?
My rent is about $2,100 US.
On a 1-year lease or
Yeah.
month to month?
No, it's a 1 year. It was $2,500, and I negotiated it down. I've been there 2.5 years now.
Okay. Yeah, I was at another really nice house today, and he was paying, I think, $2,500.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a villa. I don't know how exactly big it was, but you could. Yeah, I mean that's about the rent I was paying in Miami, but you probably get a way nicer place for that here.
It really, there's a lot of inventory now because there's so much construction going on. What I would say though is if you're living with a roommate, like that price is cut in half.
Right.
And then it's a whole different experience, right? So I just choose not to have a roommate. I don't want to know me.
Right.
I think it's a good, but you can find a 1-bedroom for like 1,500,
And are you? I know someone here who's renting
1,200.
1,200, but for 1 month. So I think you could get it down to 900. She's actually moving to another place for 800 for next month. So yeah, there's some deals under 1,000, but it's not going to be a 2-bedroom penthouse.
No. There won't be anywhere in the world. Maybe Bali. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Albania,
Yeah.
Bali,
Haven't been.
Montenegro. And so are you working now, or did you retire after your selling your business?
Retire. I wish I could retire. Well, I guess I could. I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? No, I'm working. I have several projects that I'm involved in. So when I was in the States and I had the staffing business, the reason I got out of the business is I was in a 6-year legal battle with my ex-business partner. And that I spent over $1 million on my own attorneys over a $350,000 case.
What a nightmare.
It was a blessing in disguise. I didn't realize it, but it was a blessing. It allowed me to leave the business and start working on myself in the areas that I really didn't like how I was showing up. So I settled that lawsuit at the end and then sold everything I had to pay off that. All my debts, yeah. Sold my houses, sold the business, sold everything. Started my life again, and I wrote a book called Chasing the High. I brought a copy just so I could do this. Chasing the High on Audible and Amazon. And it's an entrepreneur's mindset through addiction, lawsuits, and my journey to the edge. I had 20 years of addiction in my life. I was addicted to gambling, cocaine, Adderall, GHB, and marijuana. And money. I was chasing money all over the place.
Or in different phases?
There were different phases. Gambling, I started gambling at 10 years old. I was introduced to it by my uncle. So I had money then because my dad was an entrepreneur and I worked on the weekends. So even if it was $20, I was gambling it at 10 years old.
Wow.
So that started a nice trend of 20 years of daily gambling, basically. Daily gambling. Then I became a bookie and went through the drug dealing phase in college and all this stuff. The Adderall and GHB, they came way later. After I had been sober from gambling and cocaine, I found these. When I moved to Utah, these things were introduced to me. Yeah, it's been a life of lessons and learning, and that's why I wrote the book, so that others don't have to go through the same challenges I did and can hack them, you know? So getting back to your question, do I work? Yes, I'm a coach. I coach executives, I coach leaders in personal development, but they're usually running businesses or have big communities and things like that, because I went through this amazing transformation and now I really help raise the level of consciousness amongst the leaders. And I run retreats. That's what I'm super passionate about. They're called Live Life Activated, hence my shirt, my activated shirt.
I like that. #activated.
Thank you. And I run retreats in Costa Rica every year. I have one August 16th through 21st.
I might go to that.
Yeah, I would love it. And it's for leaders who are looking to align their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual practice with their mission and vision in life. This is the 6th one I'm doing. And I went to a retreat in Bali in 2016, and it changed my life. And so I kept going to retreats. I've been to over 25 retreats. And eventually I took a little bit of all these masters I learned from and started running my own and put my own spin on it with my own subjects and topics that I've been studying under for years. So I'm super, super passionate about this retreat. It's at a place called Imiloa Institute, which is gorgeous, one of the most gorgeous retreat centers you'll ever see. It's next to Dominical.
Okay.
And it's like perched on a mountaintop in the middle of the jungle overlooking the ocean. There's Bali houses there that they ship from Bali that sit on the land. Wow. There's domes that you can stay in. It's amazing. And I put my heart and soul into that. And then the last thing I do is I'm a part owner in a men's group called Men of Means. It's an online men's group teaching healthy masculinity.
What would you say is the mission of this group?
The mission is to create a safe space for men to open up their emotions and share the emotions that they're going through in various aspects of their life, and to teach and practice healthy masculinity and brotherhood.
Okay.
So that the old notion of you're a man, don't show your emotions. You need to have all your together. You can bleep that out if you need to.
No, it's okay.
Is like a foolish notion. It's old school. Like it's not how we live
Humans
today.
have emotions, not just women.
Right. We're all human beings, but we've been taught by our fathers and they've been taught by their fathers not to show emotion, that it's a sign of weakness. And that even if things aren't going well, just pretend that they are. You need to hold it together. I subscribed to that theory for a long time, and it drove me to depression, to addiction, to a lot of these other things. You know, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the suicide rate amongst men is over 80%.
Over 80%.
80% of suicides are of men.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So when you look at the suicide rate, it's men who are killing themselves. When you look at mass destruction, shootings, it's men,
Yeah.
right? And when you look at addictions, it's men. Believe me, there's equally addictive challenges in the female communities, but specifically with men, you know, we isolate, we hold things in, we don't share, and because we've been taught it's not safe. So these are the things we practice in this group, and it's just transformed so many lives. And it's menamines.org if anybody's interested,
And
or they
people
can
join remotely. Or
it's all online. It's
Okay.
all online. We're looking to impact 100 million men. Our 4 principles are radical ownership, so taking ownership of everything going on in your life, radical honesty, being honest, not just with everybody else, but with yourself. When you make yourself a promise, keep through with it, because you might think no one's watching, but God's watching. Radical integrity, being integral with your word, and play, and not take life so serious, because men take life so serious all the time.
Right.
So it's all about playing and getting back into your child, the child that you were born into this world with.
I love that.
So, yeah, so if anybody's interested, maybe you can leave a link and they can
Definitely.
connect with me, and I'm glad to talk more about it. I'm super passionate about all these things.
Definitely. We'll definitely link to that. And I support this mission
Thank you.
as a female.
Thank you.
I hope of 5 billion men. How many men are there on the world? Let's get everybody in.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's break Zoom. Let's break it.
You need to maybe franchise this into every country and continent and get everybody in different languages
We're working on
talking.
it. Yeah,
And
we are
women
working
too,
on it.
but we have more resources, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Not
women's
really.
circles.
Right.
Down here, that's one thing too. There's a lot of women's circles. You'll find supported men's groups. You'll find a lot of that here in Tulum also.
Right. So, is there any commonality in how you broke all of these addictions? Did you use the same process or the same tools, or did you approach each one in a different way?
I first went to Gamblers Anonymous. So I used the tools of the Anonymous program, and they saved my life. So I had that as a baseline. That was really the first personal development I was doing before I really even realized I was doing personal development.
Right.
All right. They didn't have a phrase personal development for it back then. I've had that foundation and I know these principles. However, each one of these things I quit has its own story around it. So there was no commonality. Some was just willpower. Others was an event happened like I was in New York City and I was with a friend and we were out at a bar. We were doing coke and he got in an argument with some guys. I went over to break it up and I got punched in the face, but I was trying to break it up accidentally. It broke my nose. So I had to get my nose redone. So I went to the doctor and they fixed my nose and he handed me a bill at the end and it was $10,000. And I looked at the doctor and I looked at the bill and I looked back at the doctor and I said, I will never put anything up this $10,000 nose again. And I quit cocaine.
Turkey.
Cold turkey. I've never done it since. And I'll never put anything up my nose again.
You paid a lot of money.
Paid a lot of money for this beauty.
Interesting, because last year I actually did a podcast about this. Last June, I quit coffee and processed sugar and gluten, like any kind of refined carbs or sugar, and within 24 hours of each other, and I haven't had anything since then. No Red
Wow.
Bulls, no tea, And I think that there's something. Well, I did it through reading these books by Alan Carr. I don't know if you've heard of him. He has books on how to quit drinking, how to quit smoking, how to get over your fear of flying, like any kind of psychological addiction, which I guess most addictions are. It could be a combination physical with psychological, but
they start off psychologically and then they can morph into a physical need to keep your body like regulated than what it's used to.
Yeah. And just after going through that, which was not a life or death experience, but I've thought more about habits and addictions. And, you know, we're so impressionable as humans. We're absorbing what's going on around us in our environment, whether it's just nature, it can calm us. Walking through the forest bathing, if there's chemicals around, it can irritate our eyes, our skin, our lungs. I've been coughing so much because of the dust, the exhaust, the mold, and the air conditioning, things like that. But then we're also influenced so much by the people around us, the culture, how people talk, accent, and then also advertising, society. I mean, there's so many layers to it. And what I realized I drank coffee for 20 years. What I realized in eliminating that caffeine addiction was that sometimes it can just be like a key or a shift that happens that can liberate you from something. And it just made me wonder, how many things are we addicted to that we don't even really realize it? You know, being addicted to drama or being addicted to our
that's a big one. The phones. I mean, social media is the biggest.
I'm definitely addicted to my phone.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I go in phases, but coffee's a big one for me right now. I'm drinking
Read that book.
I'm not sure I want to quit. Right. You have to have the desire first. That's because true. Part of the coffee thing for me is routine and ritual. Yeah, I love having a coffee and reading in the morning before.
My mom loves it. She's like, I don't want to quit. You're crazy. Yeah. She's like, I'm not reading that book. Yeah, if you love it, if it's a part of your life, then...
Sometimes, they tell you, quit everything for 30 days. Quit everything that's, could be considered unhealthy. And just drop everything and focus everything into what you're trying to accomplish. Whether it's your business, whether it's a physical goal, whether it's a relationship. And put all your attention on that for 30 days and see where you are after those 30 days.
I want to do that. I will take on that challenge because I think we don't even realize sometimes how much our attention is being split up. Everybody feels busy. Most people feel busy. And then everyone has responsibilities. But I think if you look at your day minute by minute, if you look at your app on your phone, how many times did you pick up your phone that day? How long did you spend answering messages, answering email? It's a big challenge to be able to just cut out all of the noise and get really focused on what it is. And even picking one specific thing, whether it's physical, whether it's career oriented. Have you ever done that? Have you ever
I've done a couple things. So I always try to do something physical every year. So I set a big physical goal for myself and accomplished it. I ran 4 marathons. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. In fact, the cover of this book, this is from the top.
That's what I thought.
This is from the top of Kilimanjaro.
That's what it looks like. Is that snow?
Yeah.
Okay. What time of year did you climb it?
It's a great question.
Because I know I've seen the photos.
It was snowing. It was
but then
cold.
Sometimes it's mostly the brown.
No, it was cold.
Okay,
it was cold. Yeah, I think it was September, October.
How did you train for that?
Well, I was raising money for Leukemia Lymphoma Society at the time, and there's an organization called Team in Training where they train you for the races, mostly for marathons, and you raise money for leukemia at the same time, and they support you through it all.
Okay.
So I literally started, and this event was through them, so I started training as if I was running for a marathon. But I started hiking, and I was living in Utah at the time. I was hiking. There's gorgeous mountains in Utah. But I'm doing a race this year called 29029, Everesting. And it's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And you basically climb the mountain and take the gondola down and climb the mountain and take the gondola down. No, you do it until you reach 29,029 feet, and you have 36 hours to do it. So it's 17 trips up and down. You do it all night until you get it done. About 60% of the people finish it. So I'm training for that now. But since there's no mountain, Tulum is one of the flattest places in the world. I'm just running.
Basically, flat limestone rock.
I'm just running right now. So I'm going to take some. I'm going to take some trips and go to some mountainous places and go on some hikes to get me ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my goal, my physical goal for this year.
Were there any moments climbing Everest that you,
Kilimanjaro.
or yeah, Kilimanjaro, that you maybe thought twice about that decision, or were you just?
Yeah. No, I thought, actually, let me think. Let me take a deep breath here. I mean, I don't know if I thought that I wanted to quit. I don't think I ever thought that, but I was sore. I was beat up. And that was so much fun also. Every time you got to the campsite, the African people were dancing and singing, and they welcome you with open arms. But it was cold, and I had an interesting person in my tent, so that was interesting. And it was a great experience. I may do it again. It was just a wonderful experience.
And have you traveled anywhere else around Mexico or the region?
Yeah, I've been to Valle del Bravo in Mexico. Amazing spot. If you haven't been there, you should go there. It's got some mountains. It's got some lakes. It's got a little bit of everything. Mexico City, some of the best food in the world in Mexico City, if you haven't been there. A lot of people, but the food is amazing. The arts, the museums, beautiful. Of course, Cabo and Puerto Vallarta, and there's a place called San Pancho, which is right next to Sayulita. It's on the other side of Mexico.
Okay.
It's an amazing spot. It's like I don't surf, but it's like a surfing type spot. Amazing little restaurants and music. It's such a cute place.
San Pancho.
San Pancho.
Wow.
And there's
I've heard of Sayulita, but not there.
right next to Sayulita.
Okay.
So yeah, I've traveled all those places in Mexico, but there's so much more I haven't. And I haven't been to Chiapas, or I haven't been to a bunch of other places.
Yeah, such a big country.
Yeah.
Kristen here. If you're looking to get away this summer, then why not join me in Costa Rica? There are still 2 early bird spots left for our group trip to Costa Rica, August 9th through 12th, 2024. If you want to join me and members of the Traveling with Kristen community in the beautiful Gulf of Papagayo in the northwest Guanacaste province of Costa Rica for a nice, relaxing, long weekend filled with amazing food, coffee, beaches, sunsets, hot springs, and more, then use the link in the show notes to reserve your place today with just a 25% deposit, and you can save $150 on the price of the trip. Just check out our link at the top of the show notes, and I look forward to seeing you in Costa Rica this summer.
So the reason you're on this podcast is because I overheard a conversation you were having with somebody at the same cafe. I was sitting at the same table, and it was so interesting. I was kind of, oh, hey, sorry to interrupt, but this is an interesting conversation. You and a friend were talking about, I didn't hear the whole thing, but just some of the context was about, I think she was mentioning how grateful she is for this lifestyle of freedom and being able to travel and work from anywhere. I'm not sure what she does for work, but that she was kind of coming up against this recurring feeling or challenge that she was walking a fine line between moving on voluntarily for reasons that she felt happy about versus running away from something or leaving a place when it gets too difficult. What was your perception on that, and have you had any feelings similarly?
When I first got here, I was here probably 6 months, and I lost my phone 3 times, so I got 3 new phones. It's not easy to get a phone when you're in Tulum. There's no place here. You have to go to Playa or Cancun. But if you have insurance on a phone in the U.S., you can't get it mailed down here. They will take it. The Border Patrol will take it, and they'll make you pay the value of the phone to get it back into the country. So you have to wait till a friend comes, basically, unless you want to pay the same price you pay. But what's the point of having insurance then?
Right.
So I had a big challenge getting a phone, and then getting another phone, and then another one. And I was like, man, I think maybe the world is like, God is telling me something. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, why? How am I losing my phone? Like, and it was like, I would be riding my scooter, it would pop out of my pocket, be gone. Or like I left it somewhere, and, I can't even remember all the instances, but the scooter thing happened multiple times. And I was questioning if I could be here, I could stay here. And there was some chaos going on because there's so much going on here that you want to go to everything, especially when you first get here, right? You're like, I'm going to go to this is Monday through Sunday. There's an event every night.
Yeah.
And every day there's multiple events. And, I was, I was meeting all these people. So I was chasing all these people, but trying to hang out with this person. And it was challenging. Like I was going crazy. I was going a little crazy. And then I decided I got to ground myself because, we're on water here. We're surrounded by cenotes here in Tulum. So it's all water. So everything flows here. People cancel on you all the time. They're late all the time. It's just like part of the lifestyle. It's accepted.
Yeah.
And I've had to come to kind of terms with that. And I understand now if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, it's not. I don't take things personally. But I did for a long time because the most valuable thing that we have in life is time. Yes. We can't recreate it. It's not money. We can make money, lose money, spend money, find money, right? It's time. So that was challenging for me to kind of come to grips with. But once I did, like a day like yesterday where 3 things today canceled, I was like, okay. What am I going to do? I'll go to the spa. I'll go work on, some more
posts. You got to have a plan B and a plan C, sometimes a plan D, and sometimes no plan, and just
flow.
See what happens.
Just flow, yeah.
My plan has been more of an outline, and then it's changed. Very fluid here, very fluid. Have you met any people that couldn't hack it, or they just said, not worth the effort or not a good fit for me here?
A lot of people. A lot of people have been here. They're planning on moving here. They stay here less than 6 months. They're gone. This place can eat you up and spit you out for sure. For sure.
What do you think are the main reasons that they leave?
They surround themselves with the wrong people. They get into partying. They, when the music scene comes here, these parties are ridiculous. There's like 30,000 people at these music festivals. One after the other, after the other, after the other. You can just burn yourself out. It's not easy in the sense that most people don't have cars. They have scooters, motorcycles, so break down a lot. If you don't know the right people to call, you don't speak the language, it can be challenging. The phone service can go out, electricity can go out multiple times a week.
Yeah.
These things can happen. You have to realize you're not living in America. You're not living you're living kind of, it's still, there's a little third world-ish that you experience in Tulum. Cancun and Playa, that's a whole built city. This is not. This is not a city yet. They're turning it into it, but it's not. So you have to be okay with those things. Wi-Fi is spotty in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So these are all reasons that people, also getting money in and out. If you don't have a bank account here, it's not so easy. I got a bank account luckily, so it's super easy now having a bank account. But without a bank account, it's challenging. So these are all different variables that you have to juggle. But once you're here and you get settled in, you find out all the local things, all the tricks and the trade, then it's a lot easier to manage.
How long did it take for you to feel like, okay, I've got this. I have my community. I have my list of people to call when I need help or when things go wrong?
Probably a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have residency now? I have
a temporary, 4-year temporary residency. Yeah.
Okay. And do you plan to get permanent?
Yeah. As long as I stay.
Right. It seems like you...
Yeah, I bought land down here, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Seems like you've been through the roller coaster curve of culture shock and adaptation.
For sure. Yes, for sure.
So do you have any advice or recommendations for people that are planning to move here, maybe not even just Tulum, but to Mexico, or they've tried living in other places, maybe Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, and they struggled with those things?
I would say it's important to have a nice balance of structure and flow. And to the things you have to get them done before you leave the house. Because like in a place like this, once you leave the house, you start walking somewhere, you see one person, you meet another person. They're inviting you here, they're inviting you there. All of a sudden, your whole day gets away from you. And it could be a beautiful day, but if you have things to accomplish, then you need to stay focused and get that stuff done before you play in these other areas.
Right.
And then I would say, really get some roots, get some basic functions down, like money, how you're going to bring money in and out, and your Wi-Fi. If you're living somewhere, make sure that you have fiber and that before you move in, that the landlord will take care of that for you. So, and don't ever pay a taxi here in Tulum. They gouge you.
Yes, I know. I had to take a taxi the other day just down the street, and I asked him how much when I got in, and he said, "How much do they usually charge you?" And I just said 50, and he said 150, and we settled on 100, which was more than it needed to be, but I just was like, I'm a gringa. Like, I'm a foreigner. Even though I speak fluent Spanish, I'm not going to expect to pay 27 pesos or whatever the locals are paying for the taxis. I know, but I also have a scooter and a car. So that was just a one-time thing. But I thought that was a funny answer.
Yeah.
How much do my compañeros charge you?
Well, it looks like you're pimping here. You got a car, a scooter, and now a taxi service.
Yeah, I lost that guy's number fast. Well, thank you so much, Michael. And where can people find your book and also connect with you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's just MDASH1, M-1. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the things. My book is on Amazon and Audible called Chasing the High. I read it on Audible. So if you'd like to have a lovely New Jersey accent in your ear for 4 hours, right here.
Anything else that I missed or anything else you want to add?
Tulum it's a beautiful place. It's an oasis, and just like any other place, it's got its things, that you have to navigate through. But there's no place in the world I'd rather be right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael, and
thank you.
Maybe I'll see you in Costa Rica.
Sounds great. Let's go. Costa Rica, baby.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.